Hi everybody, this is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy. Welcome to lesson number 38. This is a review lesson. Let's begin by setting up the table. You'll need your top 160 sight word list, the sight word study method instruction sheet, the card pack on which the student is currently working, some blank cards for introducing new sight words, a highlighter, markers, and some pencils. You'll need the short vowel instruction sheet, the keyword pictures, and the keyword sentence. For the phonemic awareness drill, you'll need the instruction sheet and the colored tiles for the student. For the visual drill and auditory drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheet and the card pack for the student. Then we have the syllable card drill. You'll have to cut this one out in advance. Notice that we are using 3 syllable words today. And I like to use different colors for the different syllables, syllable 1, syllable 2, and syllable 3. Then we've got the magnetic letter tile drill for spelling and reading. You'll need the instruction sheets and the cookie sheet with the magnetic letter tiles spread in a rainbow shape. Finally, as far as sheets go, you'll need the syllable pounding sheet, the kinesthetic discovery sheet, and the sheets for the lesson, which include the single word list, the story, and the 3 sentences for the writing section of the lesson. In addition to that, we'll have a sort that you'll have to cut out in advance. This will be for F, L, S, and Z. When do we double those? And there'll be a sort for when do we use CH at the end of a word and when do we use TCH at the end of a word. You'll also be having a timer on the table, perhaps, if you're ready for fluency. When you're ready to work on fluency with the student, you have to introduce another program. The Orton Gillingham method does not address fluency. I like to add in the 6-minute reading solution or Read Naturally. Those are 2 good programs, so you can choose one of those. And finally, in the review section, we will be doing a blending drill for the different times when 2 consonants go walking to make a brand new sound. Let's start with the sight word study method. Student, you'll need your card pack for this one. You'll read every word in your pack, and as you get them correct, on the corner of each card you'll put a check mark. Teacher, you're ready with blocking strategies. If the student encounters any difficulty, you can use those. And then student, when you finish, you will give your teacher the card pack, and then it's your teacher's turn to read. Your teacher reads each word, and then you will write down the correct spelling of each word. When you get one correct, in the other corner of the card, you can put a check mark. And teacher, once again, you're ready with blocking strategies. At the end, you can have a quick discussion to see if any of those words are mastered. If they're mastered, you will take them out of your card pack. And student, if there is time permitting, your teacher can introduce a new sight word at that moment. Let's do the short vowel drill. Student, you'll have to take out your keyword pictures and your keyword sentence. With 2 fingers, you'll trace the keyword shape, saying the keyword apple, and then underline it and say the target sound, ah. Do this as many times as your teacher deems necessary, and then move on to the next one. When you finish, you can take out your keyword sentence, and I want you to say the sentence, stretching out the vowel sounds as you do it. Let's do the phonemic awareness drill. Student, for this one, you're going to need your colored tiles. Take out a tile and call it V. Can you repeat that sound? Okay, your next sound is eh. Can you repeat that sound? Now take out a tile for eh. And you'll need one more. Call it and put it at the end. Now tap it and say it. What do you have? Did you get v, eh, n, then? If you did, that's right. First I will do this, then I will do that. Okay, if that's then, can you find the eh in then? Change the eh into an This won't be a real word. Tap it and say it. Did you get van? If you did, that's right. Now take away the v and change it into a b. What's your new word? Tap it and say it. Did you get bun? If you did, that's correct. Grab a new color and let's put it at the end. We're going to call this ch. Can you say that sound? Okay, tap the whole word and say it. Did you get bunch? If you did, that's correct. I will give you a bunch of flowers. Okay, change the in bunch to an a. What's your new word? It won't be a real word. Tap it and say it. Did you get bench? Yep, that's what it is. Let's turn it into a real word. Let's add an and we're going to put that right after the b in bench. What's your new word? Did you get branch? If you did, that's correct. Now take off the ch in branch. What are you left with? Tap it and say it. Did you get bran? Okay, great work. You can put your tiles away now. Let's do the visual drill. Student, you're going to need your card pack for this one. Your teacher holds the pack and flashes a card at you, and you say the sound that it makes. Do that now. Did you say kw? So the sound of K and the sound of W are this one, kw. We want to try not to put a big on it, kw. There we go. Okay, good. Teacher, you can flash about 6 to 8 cards and then come back to me. Let's do the auditory drill. For this one, we'll use the same card pack that we used in the visual drill. This time the teacher does not show the card. The teacher says, student, your sound is ch. Can you repeat that sound? Now, what symbol or symbols go with ch? How many ways do we know to write that one? Write down the ones you know, and as you write them, say the sound. And then when you're finished, underline it and say the sound again. Okay, let's check your work. What did you get? Did you get CH and TCH? If you did, that's right. We have to include TCH because it does make the ch sound. We don't hear the T in this one, so we can write ch as CH or TCH. Teacher, use this method and introduce about 6 to 8 flashcards and then come back to me. Let's pound out some syllables. This is where you stretch out your arm, and every time you hear a syllable, you are going to pound your arm and release one of your fingers to show the syllable. Then you can count them up. Your first one is mag. How many syllables in that one? Pound it out. Did you say 1? If you did, that's right. I hear the a in mag. Try this one. Magnetic. Did you say 3? If you did, that's right. How about insist? How many is in that one? Did you say 2? If you did, that's correct. How about TAS? There's 1 in that one. TAS is not a word on its own, but it is a syllable. It's part of a bigger word. Fantastic. How many are in that one? Did you say 3? If you did, that's right. How about this one? Inhabit. If I live in a place, I'm inhabiting the place. Did you say 3 for inhabit? If you did, that's right. Let's do a blending drill. And we're going to do this drill to review those times where 2 consonants are side by side. And instead of blending together as we would expect, they're making a brand new sound or sounds. If your teacher has this set up on the table, then you can just pause me and then fast forward through this section. And if not, you can just keep the video going and use my video to do this. It's time for the syllable card drill. Your teacher has this one set up on the table. You'll tap it and say it and read down all the syllables in column number 1 and all the syllables in column number 2 and then all the syllables in column number 3. Then you read across the rows making nonsense words. Then it's time to unscramble things. Leave column 1 as it is and unscramble 2 and 3 to make words. Let's pound out some syllables. This is where you stretch out your arm, and every time you hear a syllable, you are going to pound your arm and release one of your fingers to show the syllable. Then you can count them up. Your first one is mag. How many syllables in that one? Pound it out. Did you say 1? If you did, that's right. I hear the a in mag. Try this one. Magnetic. Did you say 3? If you did, that's right. How about Insist. How many's in that one? Did you say 2? If you did, that's correct. How about TAS? There's 1 in that one. TAS is not a word on its own, but it is a syllable. It's part of a bigger word. Fantastic. How many are in that one? Did you say 3? If you did, that's right. How about this one? Inhabit. If I live in a place, I'm inhabiting the place. Did you say 3 for inhabit? If you did, that's right. Let's do a blending drill. And we're going to do this drill to review those times where 2 consonants are side by side. And instead of blending together as we would expect, they're making a brand new sound or sounds. If your teacher has this set up on the table, then you can just pause me and then fast forward through this section. And if not, you can just keep the video going and use my video to do this. We've been talking about the TCH rule. Student, can you take your rule card out of your binder right now and have it right on hand? I would like you to talk about how the TCH rule works with your teacher. First, tap this one out and say it. Did you get crutch? As in, I hurt my leg and I had to use a crutch? If you did, that's right. I'm wondering why we need to use a TCH in this word instead of just a CH. Use your rule card to guide you and tell your teacher why the TCH is needed in this case. Okay, when you're finished, we're going to do a little sort to practice when do we use TCH and when do we use CH. So there'll be 2 piles, and the teacher has the cards, and the teacher reads a word. So I would say, your word is branch. Can you tap that out for me? Well, first off, repeat the word. Okay, and then we'll use it in a sentence to make sure you have the right word there, like the bird landed on the branch. Okay, now I'd like you to tap out branch. So you would tap out b, r, a, n, ch. And you would see that the short vowel is not directly followed by the CH. There's a consonant in between. There's already a babysitter there. So we do not need to use CH. And then your teacher would reveal it, and you'd see that you're right. So I want you to talk about your thinking. The teacher reveals the answer, and then you can put it under the CH pile. You can do that for, as many cards as you think you have time to do, just keeping an eye on the time of their teacher, and then we'll move on to the next drill. Okay, let's move on to another big concept that we've been working on. This is the doubling rule. Can you take out your rule card for when we double F, L, S, and Z? And you could also take out your keyword sentence, which is Jeff will pass Buzz. Okay. According to your rule, is this word spelled correctly, or do we have to double the N? Tap it and say it. We've got F-N, fun. So you ask yourself, well, is this one an F, L, S, or Z? And it's not. So that is spelled correctly. But what if we had a word like this one? Can you tap and say that word? F-us, fuss. I don't want to make a fuss. Well, now let's apply it. So is that a one syllable, closed syllable? Yes, it is, because it's got a short vowel followed by a babysitter. And the babysitter is an S, because you're asking yourself, is that babysitter an S, L, Z or F, and it is in this case. So that is a word where we'd have to double the S. So that is how you spell fuss. Let's review this idea, and we've got a sort to do it. So the teacher has some yes-no headers for you, and you're thinking about, does the word end in F, L, S, or Z? Yes or no? So the teacher reads a word from one of the cards. So I would say, your word is less. Can you repeat that word? I might say, you can have more ice cream, I will have less. Now I'd like you to tap that one out. L, E, S. And does the last sound, is it a S, L, F, or Z sound? S. It is. It's a S sound. So now the teacher can reveal it, and you guys can put it in the yes, it does get doubled sound. Do that for as many cards as you think you have time to do, and then come back to me. Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for reading. Student, can you take out your tile board with your magnetic letter tiles spread in a rainbow shape? Your sound is H. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your next sound is Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. The last sound is F. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Okay, tap it and say it, and apply any spelling rules that need to get applied. Okay, did you get huff, as in, I will huff and puff and blow the house down, said the wolf? If you did, that's right. And it's spelled H-U-F-F. We have to double the F because it's following the double rule for F, L, S, and Z. Okay, let's try a new one. So put those tiles away, and I'll tell you that your sound is F. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your next sound is Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your last sound is Z. Can you repeat that sound? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now apply any spelling rules that need to get applied, and tap it and say it. Did you get fuzz? If you did, that's correct. I have a little fuzz on my jacket. Okay, if you have time, teacher, you could do some more words in this way using this drill. And if not, then let's carry on to the single word list. The student will read the single word list, and then the student will read the short story. Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for writing. Student, you'll need your cookie sheet with the magnetic letter tile spread in a rainbow shape for this one. Your word is staff. Can you repeat that word? I might say musical notes are written on a staff. Or I could say a team that works at a business is called a staff. What's the first sound that you hear in staff? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in staff? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the next sound that you hear in staff? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in staff? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now take a look at your word and apply any spelling rules that need to get applied, and tap it and say it. Did you get S-T-A-F-F? If you did, that's right. Put your tiles away and let's try a new one. Okay, your word is grass. Can you repeat that word? I might say, I will have a picnic on the grass. What's the first sound that you hear in grass? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in grass? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in grass? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in grass? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now apply any spelling rules that need to get applied. and tap it and say it. Did you apply the doubling rule for GRASS? If you did, that's right. Good job. If you have time, your teacher could do another word in this way. And if not, let's move on to tapping and writing. So you'll need a lined paper and a pencil. I'm going to tell you a word, and you can tap it out, saying each sound as you tap it. Then grab the word, say the whole word, and then write it down. Your word is glitch. Can you repeat that word? When something malfunctions, we say it's having a glitch. Okay. Tap it, or you could trace it on your body and say the sounds. And then think about what spelling rule has to get applied. And then write down the word. Okay, did you get GLITCH? If you did, that's right. Okay, let's try a new one. Your word is bunch. Can you repeat that word? I might say, I have a bunch of flowers. Okay, tap it and say the sounds, or trace it and say the sounds, and then grab the whole word, say the whole word, and then write it down. Remember to apply the spelling rules. Okay, how'd you do? Did you get BUNCH? If you did, that's correct. Let's try one more. Your word is bless. Can you repeat that sound? Or can you repeat that word? Sorry about that. Yeah, and I might say, I will bless you if I put it in a sentence. Okay, you can tap it and say the sounds, or you could trace it and say the sounds. Then apply the spelling rule and write it down. Did you get BLESS? If you did, that's right. Okay, there are 3 sentences. So teacher, read all 3 to the student, and the student will choose which 2 will be written down. And student, when you finish writing a sentence, I'd like you to use chops to check your work. A quick review before you go. We were reviewing the times where 2 consonants go walking and make a brand new sound. And what sounds does this one make? It makes 2. Did you say th and th has a motor on sound and a motor off sound? Great job. And then how about this one? This one has 2 sounds as well. Tell your teacher. This one could make the w sound as in where, or it could make the h sound as in whole. This one only has 1 sound. What sound does it make? It makes the f sound. The second thing we were working on is, when do you use CH at the end of a word, and when do you use TCH? This word is spelled correctly. Can you tell your teacher why this word needs to have a TCH in it? Explain it to your teacher and then come back to me. Okay, and the last thing we were working on is called the doubling rule for F, L, S, and Z. Why is this one spelled correctly? Tell your teacher. Okay, and what's the keyword sentence that we use to remember that we have to double S, L, F, and Z when it's at the end of a 1-syllable closed syllable word? That sentence is, Jeff will pass Buzz. Can you say that? Okay, that is the end of lesson 38. So great job today. This is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy. The way we do this drill will depend on your student. For some students, it would be best just to have the student tap it and say it, and then move the word to the correct pile so everything's visual, they can see what they're doing. For other students who need a bit more of a challenge, the teacher could have the cards and not show them to the student, and the student would listen and tell you what is the last sound in that word. So if the word was class, they would say the last sound is S, so that S, that's an S, it must be going to get doubled. And then you could reveal it and put it in the correct pile. So I'll let you choose how you do that one.